Good morning. I'm Lisa Monahan. An Oklahoma City man accused of firing at officers during a standoff now headed to trial. How many charges he's facing ahead? Plus this.
Does he still have the gun in his hand?
I don't see it. It's not visible anymore.
We now have the 911 calls following a shooting outside an Edmond Plasma Donation Center. I'm Lacey Lowry. Coming up, the new information from police about what led up to that shooting.
And I'm meteorologist Lacey Swope. We were just talking about how strong the storms were getting in the north. The storm near Medford is now severe with winds to 60 miles per hour. Possible very intense lightning where that storm is headed, where we could see more storms this afternoon, and more on that heat advisory coming up.
Live from downtown Oklahoma City, Oklahoma's own News 9 starts now.
6 o'clock on a Thursday morning. Good morning, Oklahoma. Waking up on this hot day on tap. We also have some rain on the radar, so we're kind of all over the place, honestly.
I know. As we inch closer to the weekend, start making those plans to spend it in a pool or a lake, something to keep you cool. As we come to Lacey Swope at the Bob Mills Weather Center, how hot are we going to get today, Lace?
Back up to the triple digits, but right now we're tracking that severe storm, guys, into northern Oklahoma. I want to let folks know where that storm is the most intense. We're talking north of Enid. If you're in the metro, skies are clear, but as you look up to the north, you will notice the cloud cover billowing up from Pond Creek to Jefferson, if you're seeing those towers. And then folks hearing those storms for sure near Medford, near right over Wakita now. And look at the lightning strikes within that. The lightning has pulsed up, might have some pea-sized hail right over Wakita. And one of the things you have to watch for with these storms is a quick burst of damaging winds. So 50 to 60 mile per hour winds possible. This is tracking to the northeast at about 25 miles per hour. May make it to the west of Renfro. We'll see. It's going to track up into Kansas here in the next little bit, but we're watching it closely. If you can avoid that storm and not hit the roadways until it passes by, that's the safest bet. We got a few showers up near Freedom, and we are dry in Oklahoma City. Skies are clear, and it is warm. It is 77 degrees. Heat advisories are out because we'll go from the 70s and 80s, guys, quickly warming into the 90s, and then that heat index will climb above 100 up to about 104. We'll talk more about that storm coming up. We'll also talk about more storm chances, more severe weather possible later today in just a few minutes. Back to you.
An Oklahoma City man accused of firing at police officers during a standoff will stand trial. Last September, a neighbor told News 9 Mario Cruz pointed a gun at his landlord as she was trying to evict him. The police were called, and this is what unfolded. Cruz barricading himself inside the house and trying to escape through the attic. The fight was on. Police say Cruz shot at them. They shot back, injuring him. He was taken to the hospital, and now he faces 19 charges, including shooting with intent to kill and assault.
Former death row inmate Richard Glossop will remain behind bars while he awaits his new murder trial. He was sentenced to die for the 1997 killing of his former boss, Barry Van Treese. But the U.S. Supreme Court threw out Glossop's murder conviction back in February. Well, a judge denied bond yesterday, saying there is clear and convincing evidence that Glossop is likely guilty of a capital offense. Glossop is due back in court next month.
Neha Gupta, come to the front door, do it now! Hands, come out. Contact on the ground.
New body camera video shows Oklahoma City police arresting a Metro pediatrician accused of smothering and killing her 4-year-old daughter. Investigators say the suspect, Neha Gupta, took her daughter, Aria Talathi, to Miami, Florida last month and tried to fake the daughter's drowning. She was arrested in Oklahoma City and has been extradited back to Florida. Gupta charged with first-degree murder. She will be arraigned in Florida next month.
Okay, tell me what happened.
A gentleman walked in and was yelling, help, help, I need help. He shot me.
Yeah, we're now hearing those 911 calls made after a shooting in the parking lot of a plasma donation center in Edmond. The person arrested claims it was all in self-defense. It happened Tuesday near 2nd and Bryant. Court documents now revealing Micah Hill was waiting in the car for his girlfriend when her husband approached him. Hill told investigators he got scared, grabbed a gun out of his girlfriend's purse, and then shot the man twice. That victim was taken to the hospital in unknown condition. Hill was booked into the Oklahoma County Jail on a $50,000 bond.
Your time now, 6:05. A quick check of traffic this morning. Here's a live look on the Lucky Star Skycam network. The sky looks beautiful this morning. We are checking crash reports. Right now, it looks like nothing to pass along. That's always a good traffic report. We'll check again in the next 10 minutes, but there's a live look on the big interstates through the metro.
In 2 weeks, supporters of recreational use of marijuana in Oklahoma can begin collecting signatures trying to get the issue on the ballot. They'll have 3 months to collect more than 170,000 names. And a newly passed Senate bill means organizers will have to venture out of Tulsa and Oklahoma counties to get them. Oklahomans for Responsible Cannabis Action say they believe this latest attempt better represents the industry.
Ultimately, the difference will be at the cash register. If you have a medical card, you're paying 0% excise tax, but you will pay state and local sales tax. If you're purchasing for adult use, it will be a 10% excise tax.
If organizers gather enough signatures, that question could appear on the ballot in 2026.
The Oklahoma State Board of Education meets today talking about whether to revoke the teaching licenses of several Oklahoma educators. One of those is Jacob Doshier. He was arrested back in the spring around May, accused of sexually abusing a student at Putnam City West High School. These teachers are accused of child abuse, child pornography, or having a sexual relationship with a student. There are several on the agenda today. State Superintendent Ryan Walters joined News 9 back in May discussing these lifetime bans for Oklahoma teachers. He says his leadership and the state board are working to hold administrators accountable.
We are ending this practice of passing the trash in Oklahoma. The teacher will be held accountable. We will make sure that we work with law enforcement, that they are investigated and prosecuted to the full extent of the law, but also those that harbor them, those that don't turn over the investigations, we will come after their certificates too.
That State Board of Education is today at 9:30. We will be following what comes of those decisions involving teachers' certificates. And this is the last State Board of Education meeting before the first day of school, which is less than 3 weeks away.
And with the school year approaching, the Brooks Clinic hosting a children's school uniform drive to help displaced Oklahoma City public school students. Now that drive is for students in pre-K through 4th grade. If you'd like to help out, you can drop off uniforms in all sizes at any of the 6 Brooks Clinics locations all across the metro. Donations will be collected through the end of August. And you can find a full list of drop-off locations over on our website, news9.com, as well as a lot of back-to-school resources, including a full list of school supplies for the state's largest districts. Hard to believe that time is coming for us.
It is that time of year. I love how many community backpack giveaways there are and school resource fairs. So we're going to share those with you as they pop up, because less than 3 weeks away, start of school.
We're going to have all the back-to-school resources for you here on News 9 as well. And we know we'll even have some back-to-school bus stop forecast when that rolls around, right, Lacey?
We're so very close to it, that's for sure. As folks are heading out this morning, we have sunshine in the metro, but we've got a severe storm in northern Oklahoma that we're watching closely. Could have winds 50 to 60 miles per hour. It's moving at about 15 to 20 miles per hour up to the northeast. It's near Wichita, headed to Renfro. It will be in Kansas here in the next hour. So we're watching it. We just don't want you to hit the roadways right now if you can avoid it in Grant County, north of Medford, basically. Now in the metro, we have sunshine. Skies are clear. It is warm. Heat advisory in effect. Who sees storms later today? That's coming up.
Also ahead, the man who murdered 4 Idaho University students is sentenced to prison, and how much the University of Columbia is paying the Trump administration to restore federal funding. Your top national stories are next.
She keeps me alive every single time we have to go through this.
An Oklahoma Marine says his epilepsy started after an injury during combat training overseas. How the condition changed his life. Ahead on News 9.
All right, out the door forecast. It's crazy that we're talking about severe storms this morning, Lacey.
Well, it's summertime in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
When you get storms in all the heat and the humidity, they can grow pretty rapidly, pretty quickly. So they pulse up, they pulse back down. That's kind of what we're seeing right now. That's what we'll watch later today, tonight, and again tomorrow.
Also the heat.
Also the heat. So it's like if you don't have a storm overhead and rain, you're going to be very hot and humid.
Yes.
So it's one of the two for all of Oklahoma over the next several days, actually.
Wow. I think we all need to hit the pool or a lake.
Got to find ways to cool off. But right now we do have a thunderstorm that we're tracking up to the north, and it is severe. So we're going to get to that in just a second. We are dry in the metro, and we have sunshine. Temps from the 70s. The heat's the story for Oklahoma City today. Back up to 96, 97, and the heat index will be about 104. Now, currently, looking off to the north, you can see the updraft is a long way away up to the north from Guthrie on our Lucky Star Skycam network. But underneath that is the town of Waukeeta, headed up towards Renfro, and that storm is severe. We are tracking it. So the threats with it this morning, damaging winds. Very little in the way of hail showing up, may have some pea-size hail, but the winds, yeah, they're getting a little bit rowdy within that storm, and then it'll track into Kansas within the next hour, and that's really the only strong storm in the state. The rest of us are dry, but it's all connected to this big upper level low. Surface low is sitting right over Kansas, and there'll be flooding rain in Kansas today, and then we'll have more storms within that system later this afternoon. We had rain and severe storms yesterday. Zooming in on the severe storm, a lot of lightning now north of Pond Creek, north of Medford. The cell's going to stay north of Medford, and the way it's tracking, it may stay to the north and west of Renfro, but I put a track on it. Again, winds to 60 are possible. That's enough. You don't want to be on the roadways if you can avoid it there in northern Grant County, headed up towards Caldwell, Kansas. If it makes it to Renfro, 645, you're going to get the rain in Renfro, but as far as the damaging winds, I think those might stay just to the north. Byron and Cherokee, a few thunderstorms, not severe, a little rain trying to end before it makes it to Alva. So 2040 to, a 100% chance of rain farther to the north. Now, this is the scene on our Lucky Star Skycam network. That is the current view across Oklahoma City. This is our Integris cam. No cloud cover. The sunrise is coming up here in about 15 minutes. 77 degrees on your Thursday morning, and it's a scorcher this afternoon. Much hotter, of course, but it's already so warm and humid this morning. It's 81 in Guthrie, Hara 80, Meeker 78, Shawnee 76 degrees, Seminole 74, it's 80 in Fairview. 60s in the Panhandle, and it's only going to be in the 80s in the Panhandle later today behind a weak cold front. Metro temperatures upper 90s today, mid upper 90s, but it'll feel hotter. I'll show you. Right now, winds, without the storms, are 10 to 20 miles per hour. We'll warm up to the mid upper 90s. I think we reach 101 in Hobart, 100 in Lawton, 102 in Altus. Factor in the humidity, 104, 105, up to 110 off towards the east. As far as more rain goes, I think we dry it out after this complex this morning pushes into Kansas. We're dry for several hours. The new storms develop in the Panhandle and in the Northwest this afternoon. 20% chance in OKC, and storms today, like what we're seeing this morning. We've seen this day in and day out. We saw this several times last week. These storms have a chance to produce damaging winds. That's the biggest concern. Maybe some small hail, and at times, if they train over the same regions, can end up giving us some flooding. And this area has had quite a bit of rain. So more rain today in the Northwest tonight, mainly in the Panhandle up until midnight, and then after midnight, storms try to move through the west and make it into the Oklahoma City metro after sunrise. As they're weakening, more rain and storms possible on Friday. Isolated, it's a 20% chance from Alva down to Clinton, and it does include Oklahoma City for your Friday evening. So tonight into the 70s, rain chances from Alva to Clinton to Altus. I think you get some showers, but it'll be moving quickly, so totals don't look that great. Highs for tomorrow for your Friday, upper 90s, close to 100 with a 20% chance of thunderstorms for your Friday. So here's your 9-day. Highest rain chance in Oklahoma City, 30%. And that's tonight into your Friday morning. Friday afternoon, 20%. Still in the mid upper 90s. Hope to see you on Saturday out at Bob Mills from 10 to noon. The weather team will be there. Upper 90s next week. And then that cold front, some relief on the way as we end July and head into the 1st of August. Back to you guys.
In Idaho, Brian Koberger was sentenced to 4 consecutive life sentences for the quadruple murder of college students yesterday in a courtroom. Here's the video. Koberger spared the death penalty earlier this month in order to plead guilty to killing 4 University of Idaho students in 2022. He was expressionless in the courtroom and declined the opportunity to speak about those killings.
Well, a judge denied the DOJ's request to unseal grand jury transcripts from the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. This comes as House Speaker Mike Johnson is sending lawmakers for an early summer recess rather than holding votes on all documents.
Columbia University in New York City settles its costly battle with the Trump administration. The university says it will pay more than $220 million over 3 years to the federal government to restore federal grants and research. The Trump administration had previously pulled funding at the school, claiming the university failed to stop anti-Semitism on campus.
Time now 6:18. We're going to get a quick check of the traffic. We're going to take a look at the roadways all across the metro here as the sun is coming up. And if you're heading out the door, everything is A-OK on the roadways this morning. No crashes to report. Just buckle up and be safe.
An Oklahoma Marine suffering from epilepsy says he got it during his time in the military service.
He's been battling the seizure since 2023. News 9's Elizabeth Fitz shows us how this condition has changed his life.
I was overseas and doing combative training and just got dropped right on my head and saw stars, blacked out.
Michael Perigo had his first known seizure 3 years after serving in the Marines. Doctors diagnosed him with epilepsy after he had multiple seizures despite being on medications to prevent them.
You know, he's in that unlucky percentage that doesn't get controlled by medicine, so he's considered uncontrolled.
Michael's seizures are violent and painful. They happen in clusters during certain times of the month or randomly.
I mean, he's 6'5", and so I'm always worried, you know, if he falls and hits his head, what am I going to do?
He even has them in his sleep, which is not lost upon his girlfriend, Megan.
Well, there's a thing as SUDEP, which is, you know, just sudden unexpected death and epilepsy, and so that's just always possible. More common with night seizures, which is what he has, and so just always thinking of things like that.
The diagnosis flipped their world upside down.
It's been pretty rough mentally. One of my jobs in the military was working on jet engines, so I just really like working with my hands. And the moment I became epileptic, holding a full-time job is pretty much impossible.
Michael now works as a part-time substitute special education teacher at the same school where Megan teaches so they can carpool to work.
The teachers and the teaching assistants, they know how to deal with all that. They deal with worse conditions. So that's kind of allowed us to venture off into an actual, I wouldn't say career, but at least I could make a little bit of money.
Elizabeth Fitz, Oklahoma's own News 9.
Now, Michael's doctors are still determining if surgery to help his seizures would be possible. He and his girlfriend are just swimming in medical bills right now. If you'd like to help offset those expenses, you can scan that QR code right there on your screen.
Coming up, OSU women's basketball doubling up on family ties this season. How 2 different sister acts are bringing extra chemistry to the court. OSU women's head basketball coach J.C. Hoyt hires her sister Taryn as an assistant this upcoming season. And we found out that's not the only sister duo on OSU's team. J.C. Hoyt excited to work with her sister. J.C. has guided the Cowgirls to the NCAA tournament twice in 3 years. OSU also has sisters Staley and Tyla Hurd on the roster this season.
It's really a blessing to get to play with your blood, and sure, like everyone else on the court is my sister too, but to be able to play with the one that you grew up with and you have the same everything and you can read each other's minds kind of, it's really special.
This is so cool, a family affair. You can watch these incredible sister acts in action this coming women's basketball season in Stillwater.
Oklahoma City Thunder players Jay Will and Isaiah Joe will be honored by their hometowns today. Fort Smith, Arkansas, throwing a parade for them. Yeah. Local OKC pastor and singer Rob Clay will be there to sing the national anthem. They're getting 2 parades.
Don't stop the parties. Yeah. We're going to ride this thing to the end of the year.
All the way to the next season.
So good luck on your hometown parade today. Let's get over to Lacey Swope, talk about the weather. That's in Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Right.
How are we looking here in Oklahoma City this morning?
Just as hot.
Yeah.
Just as hot as what's going to happen. They're a little more humid over in Arkansas than what we're going to see. Guys, this was a picture from yesterday. It was hot yesterday, but Aaron was out with his grandpa. His grandma sent us this picture. Said he fished for 5 hours.
Oh, my gosh.
And they were determined he was going to catch his first fish, and he was successful.
Dedication. That's his first fish?
That's his first fish.
Aaron, way to go.
Congrats to you. She sent me another picture where he was kissing it, too. So he was very, very proud of his first fish. And teaches you so many things for kiddos. It teaches patience and perseverance, and it's so exciting when you do end up catching that first fish. We are clear and dry in Oklahoma City. The heat's the story, but we're tracking the storm north of Wichita now, pushing right on the Oklahoma-Kansas border. Has had a history of producing winds to 50, maybe 60 miles per hour. So on the low end severe threat, we're watching that. We may see more severe storms later today in the west, and for the metro, it's about the heat. Heat index of 104 is where we'll top out later today. We'll talk more about your statewide rain timeline coming up.
Also ahead, an Oklahoma woman is wanted in Missouri on 18 counts of animal abuse. Her husband has already been arrested in this case. The disturbing condition investigators say the dogs were found in.
And an Oklahoma City man accused of driving drunk, caught on camera slamming into the police officer's vehicle and then taking off. What finally happened at the end of this pursuit, we'll show you next on 9.
You're watching Oklahoma's own News 9 this morning.
Good morning, Oklahoma. 6:30 on your Thursday morning. You're looking live on the Lucky Star Skycam network at Guthrie, America. We've got the camera pointed north. It looks beautiful, and it is looking north towards those severe storms that Lacey Swope is tracking. It's like severe storms, severe heat. Everything is severe today. She's going to tell us about it here in just a second. We do say thanks for joining us, and we're really excited about what's coming up this weekend.
It's going to be a very busy weekend. In fact, you'll have the chance to meet Lacey David and the entire weather team at Bob Mills Furniture. That's from 10 to noon on Saturday. It's for the Touch a Truck event. The Storm Tracker trucks will be out there. You can get inside, take a peek, and then go inside the air conditioning to meet the team.
Let's get over to the Bob Mills Weather Center and check in with Lacey. You got a lot to talk about today, Lace.
There's a lot going on, as always. There's something. The state of Oklahoma, 77 counties. There's so much variability in our weather. So some areas, the heat advisory is the story. Other areas, the chance for storms. This is what we've been doing every day. We had severe storms yesterday. We have a severe storm right now, and we'll have more storm chances later on. That's the anvil from that storm. So it grew so tall, it hit the stable layer in the atmosphere, really the low levels of the stratosphere, and it is now spreading out now that it hit that, and that gives you that big anvil effect. And as sunrise, it makes for a gorgeous view, but underneath it, the winds are a little rowdy up in Grant County, right on the Oklahoma-Kansas border. In Oklahoma City, we're dry. Storms took off this morning at about 3 o'clock, and now here's where they're headed. Some rain over Medford and Renfro, but the severe portion of the storm is right on the Oklahoma-Kansas border, where winds could be to 60 miles per hour, and there's some intense lightning with that cell. The rain is ending now in the northwest. We've got several dry hours ahead. This will all wind down here in just a little bit. The sun just now peeking up over the horizon. That's our Lucky Star Skycam network. Your Thursday, it's off to a fantastic start, but it is going to be hot today. 77 degrees. That is our temperature now. We'll go from the 70s and 80s to the mid and upper 90s, guys. That heat index will land about 104, dangerously hot. More on rain chances, including the metro, coming up.
Lacey, thank you. 6:32 here, and with time now to get a check of the traffic. We do have this injury accident working out on Northwest 28th and Meridian. This call first coming out as an injury. We are there on the scene of Northwest 28th and Meridian of this crash involving 2 cars. We are working to find out exactly what the extent of those injuries would have been for one of the drivers. We have our Lex Stanfield there at the scene gathering more information for us. We'll continue to pass it along right here on News 9 and the News 9 app.
Also on the roads this morning, Oklahoma City police say a car went airborne and crashed near Scissortail Park overnight. This was the scene near Southwest 7th and Robinson. The car flipped over on its top around 12:30 this morning. Officers say the driver was going way too fast at the roundabout, went flying through the air, eventually crashing into the parking lot where the car burst into flames. Luckily, the driver had no injuries.
An Oklahoma woman is now wanted in Missouri, charged with 18 counts of animal abuse. According to investigators, Jessica Peters, the wife of Robert Peters, was following behind his truck full of dogs. The two were transporting those animals in triple-digit heat with no air conditioning. Police say she knew about the truck's condition and failed to intervene.
They were covered in their own waste. They were covered in some sort of sawdust to kind of soak up everything so they wouldn't have to go on brakes, it seems like.
Jessica Peters has not been arrested yet, but her husband, Robert, was arrested on the spot and is being held without bond.
You got to look at this video. Keep watching. New dash cam video shows a suspected drunk driver ramming into a police officer, hitting someone else's car, and then finally crashing into a telephone pole. Police say the driver is David Placencio Lopez. They say he eventually crashed into a telephone pole. They had to box him in. Daniel Placencia Lopez. They eventually had to box him in so he wouldn't take off. They say his truck and him both reeked of alcohol. He was booked on multiple complaints, including DUI and assault and battery on an officer.
Well, Benjamin Plank, the man accused of killing Oklahoma County Sergeant Bobby Schwartz and injuring Deputy Mark Johns, will be back in court today. Now, the court first ordered a competency review in 2023 for Plank. Since then, Plank has had several competency reviews and has failed to show signs of improvement. Well, now the court will decide if the Oklahoma Department of Mental Health has exhausted all options for his treatment.
It is absolutely atrocious what actually happened there in Syria. This is the same thing that happened to the Alawites in northern Syria, now happening to a Druze minority in southern Syria.
Oklahoma Senator James Lankford speaking out about the execution of Oklahoman man in Syria. Federal officials say Hossam Soraya was killed alongside his family in sectarian violence. Senator Lankford says the Druze community, which Hossam was a part of, is facing religious persecution in Syria.
And legislation sponsored by Senator James Lankford 6 years ago gave American victims of international terrorism the ability to seek justice in U.S. courts.
And then a U.S. Supreme Court ruling just last month made the measure a law. Our Washington Bureau Chief Alex Cameron has details.
Well, at issue was Senator Lankford's Promoting Security and Justice for Victims of Terrorism Act of 2019. Lower courts had agreed with arguments made by the Palestinian Authority and ruled the measure could not go forward. But then the case came here.
And the Supreme Court, in a 9-0 decision, actually supported my legislation. That is now law.
Senator Lankford says he discovered the need for the law in 2018.
I learned that American victims of terrorism in Israel, where the Palestinian Authority or the PLO had carried out acts of terrorism against Americans could not actually file suit against them.
The reason is because of an American legal concept known as personal jurisdiction, and the notion that a defendant, in this case the Palestinian Authority and the PLO, must have at least minimal connections, a nexus, with the state where the lawsuit is filed in order for the court there to have jurisdiction.
So I've created a legislation to be able to give a nexus for Americans that were directly affected as victims of terrorism in Israel to still be able to file against the Palestinian Authority.
In addition to giving legal recourse to U.S. victims of international terror, Lankford hopes the law will disincentivize what he says are known as martyr payments, payments made to the family of a person who kills an American in Israel.
Well, that's absolutely awful. And I want the ability for American families to be able to hold the Palestinian Authority accountable for that.
The court's ruling allows the cases at the center of the dispute to now move forward. In our Washington Bureau, I'm Oklahoma's own Alex Cameron.
It's critical. The station has operated in that model from its founding in 1987.
Well, in Claremore, Rogers State University's public broadcast station is one of many across the country now scrambling to replace federal funding. About $1 billion in funds could be cut within the next year as part of the rescission bill approved by Congress last week. Other broadcast stations have started taking donations just so they can keep operations going. Tough to think about that all happening, but they do rely so much on those donations.
We'll be following that. Also following severe storms to the north this morning. Let's check in with Lacey Swope in the Bob Mills Weather Center. Hey, Lace.
Hey, that storm pulsed up pretty quickly, started to ramp up. Now it's decreasing rapidly, no longer severe and pushing into Kansas. So great news there for folks up in Grant County. This is north of Renfro. Still getting some thunderstorm activity, some pockets of heavy rain. Dry in Oklahoma City, clear skies. The sun is now just up above the horizon on our Lucky Star Sky Cam network, and we're heating up quickly through the morning. How high do temperatures climb? What about the heat index? We'll get to that and more storm chances coming up.
Also ahead, EMSA in Oklahoma City seeing a spike in heat exhaustion calls since early July. How to look out for yourself during the hottest months, the symptoms to watch for. It's next.
Plus, first responders can grab some free treats at Oklahoma convenience stores today for 24/7 Day. How this nationwide effort honors those who protect us around the clock. We're back after this.
Your time now, 6:42. We are following breaking news. Want to take you out live right now to Northwest 28th and Meridian to a car crash. Here is a live look. Oklahoma City police are on the scene, and we just saw EMSA treating at least one person there at the scene. So it sounds like there might be some injuries, and the road is now blocked while they bring in that tow truck to try to clear out the crashed cars. We're trying to get more information for you, but as far as your morning commute, Northwest 28th at Meridian blocked right now due to this crash. Also, EMSA's medical heat alert is in effect this morning. They issued it back on July 9th, and they've had so many heat exhaustion calls since then. 50 calls so far, 13 in just the last 3 days, and we know 29 people have had to go just in Oklahoma City to the hospital as a result. And on the whole year, 173. Heat is the big story.
Absolutely. And you know, a lot of these kiddos are starting to do their 2-a-day practices and things like that.
Oh,
I thought, man, this heat.
August brings it. Every single year we talk about it. You know, schools do everything they can to keep everybody hydrated. They do them early. They do them late in the day. And you got to take it seriously. On average across the country, heat is the #1 killer weather element. So, yeah.
I think people forget that.
They do. They forget that. And it can sneak up on you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You prepare for other things. And you, oh my gosh, a tornado. That's obvious. But just being out in these conditions and not properly prepared can sneak up on you quickly.
Yes.
So be careful for sure. We need some cloud cover that at least helps filter the sunshine. We had some yesterday when the clouds broke. My goodness, it was hot. We do have some big clouds going on. That's a cumulonimbus cloud, one of my favorites, going on. If you look, take the Oklahoma City metro area and look to the north, this is a view just north of Medford. So across north central Oklahoma, big old thunderstorm has gone up. It has hit the stable layer of the atmosphere, and it has started to kind of pancake out, and it completely flattens out. That's the big anvil. That storm was severe a bit ago. It is weakening, and you can see a few cells going up as well. So we're watching that. That's the view from our Guthrie cam. Pointed off to the north, no cloud cover in central Oklahoma, and the clouds up north will go away. So we're talking heat advisory criteria later today, 100 to 110. Avoid alcohol, hydrate. You need to be doing it now. Start getting those electrolytes in, have sunscreen, and reapply it through the day. Dress appropriately and take plenty of breaks today. Folks that work out in these conditions, we always think about you this time of year. Be safe. All right, the storms up north, yeah, it's one county dealing with them, Grant County. Pushing to the north, we are dry and clear, but those are flood watches in effect for portions of New Mexico and Kansas, where these storms are going to train today, tonight, and into tomorrow. We'll have rain on radar later today, tonight, and we have rain chances in the metro tomorrow morning. There's what's left of the storms. The lightning count is coming down with it, but heavy rain over Renfro. That's going to head over towards Bremen and Nardin. We'll see Ponca City. I think this is going to stay to your west, and then drying out in northwest Oklahoma. You had some rain overnight, so rain chances dwindling down up north. Skies are clear in Oklahoma City. Not a cloud in sight, so not a breath or not an ounce of shade. There is a breath of wind. You'll notice that. That at least helps in the shady spots today. Temps in the 70s, the low 80s. As you're heading out, it is warm, and there's your south wind. 10 to 20. We've had some gusts to 25 miles per hour. It's the time of year where folks are cutting hay. We hear from you a lot this time of year, and it is brutally hot for sure. We have stayed dry across central Oklahoma going on about 10 days, but we'll have more rain chances creeping back in, although they're still in the low category. 97 with a heat index of 104 today. 98 in Guthrie, 97 in Jones. Tuttle, 98 degrees, 98 in Ponca, 100 in Clinton, up to 102 in Altus, and then factor in the humidity. This is our forecasted heat index later today. That's why the heat advisory is with us again. That is dangerously hot. Then storm chances go up, but you'll still have a chance to warm up. I think the Panhandle stays in the 80s for highs, 20% chance of rain in OKC, and we'll monitor storms in the northwest. And if storms make it into the west today, as we lose the heating of the day, so close to midnight, storms should weaken and fall apart. But I don't think the rain completely ends. It's just they come down in intensity, and not every storm today is severe. Some of them will pulse up and become severe briefly, and it's mainly a damaging wind threat. So 60 to 70 mile an hour winds possible. Here's midnight to 1 o'clock, the bulk of the rain out west, but then it's moving into western Oklahoma. Oklahoma, from Arnett to Cheyenne down to Altus, weakening, but still a chance tomorrow morning. Here's Friday, 9 a.m. We might get a little of that rain developing in Oklahoma City, and a few additional storms Friday afternoon are possible. We've added rain chances for your Friday afternoon and evening west of I-35. 73 degrees in Oklahoma City tonight. Rain chances likely out west for a while, winding down through central Oklahoma. Friday afternoon, mid-upper 90s with a 20% chance of afternoon rain. Then rain chances come down to about 0 for Oklahoma City. For Saturday and Sunday, 97, 95, hot into next week until that cold front moves in, guys, and the relief is still looking good as we head into the 1st of August. Back to you.
Today is July 24th, or 24/7 Day. For the National Association of Convenience Stores, it's a day to honor and thank those who work 24/7 around the clock.
I love this. The stores are recognizing first responders, medical personnel, and American Red Cross volunteers. And this morning, we're joined by the association's executive director, Kevin O'Connell. Good morning, Kevin. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having me.
How did all of this get started? What inspired this movement?
You know, we saw two things. One, a unique thread between what you just said. First responders work 24/7, and we also realize our convenience stores are open 24/7. And so there's the thread there. But also when a disaster strikes or there's an emergency scenario happening in a community, oftentimes convenience stores are the last to close, if at all, and the first to reopen, both used, as a space for first responders to rally and plan their response, but also for the community members to come by and grab that first, the first necessities, your milk, eggs, etc.
How long have you guys been doing this, Kevin?
Yeah, so this started in 2019. So this is our 7th year. And in 2019, we started with 3 retail brands, Wawa, Sheetz, and Racetrack. And now we are in our 7th year, and we just broke 100 retail brands, 35,000 convenience stores across the country, and really full participation across every state in the country.
We know this is a national effort here, but what stores here in Oklahoma are participating?
Yeah, in Oklahoma City, we have 4 major brands participating. So we have Allsups. They're giving out a 32-ounce free coffee in the Blanchard area. Casey's. We are all familiar with Casey's. Any size coffee or fountain drink. And then Easy Mart is doing the same thing. And then last but not least is OnCue. They are giving away a cold sub, actually, when you use their app. And so whether you have a brand affinity or your favorite coffee is at one of those 4 stores, you can go into any of those stores as a first responder, and they certainly will serve you up and obviously say thank you for what you're doing for your community.
Such a kind gesture, Kevin, and a lot of first responders are listening right now. What's the message you guys are trying to send to our heroes?
What we have found by doing this event, as well as our First Responder of the Year award, is it's kind of cut from the same cloth. Is they don't want to be recognized. They run into the line of duty when we're running the other way, and they just do it because that's who they are. And this is our way to say we see you and we thank you. And this is our small token of saying come on in. And for a lot of first responders, they come in and out of our convenience stores before, during, and after a shift anyway to get caffeinated, get that snack, get the last few hours of their shift in, but also to say hello to the team members and make connections, because again, C-stores are our community hub, so they can kind of use that as the hub to know what's going on in the community.
Hey, really quickly, how do you take advantage of this? You just walk in, grab whatever they're given for free and say thanks?
Yeah,
how's that work?
Yeah, obviously, if you're in a uniform of any, that will obviously be helpful. Some may require a badge or credential, but another great thing is if you go to 247day.org/map, that has all of our stores plotted, and so every first responder can go to 247day.org and check out our map and see where their closest store is in Oklahoma City.
Awesome.
Kevin, thanks so much for being with us. We'll get that information linked to news9.com as well for a resource for everyone to go see where they can get their goodies. We so appreciate our first responders and what you're doing for them. Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks for having me.
All right, back after this. Stay with us.
Cool. It's really neat.
Recruit Blumenthal, this is me before getting OC sprayed. This is Recruit Blumenthal after getting OC spray.
OC spray is pepper spray. Yeah, Oklahoma City Police showing the public what recruits go through during pepper spray training. They have to spray them in the face and they have to pass the test. Oh my goodness. Oklahoma City Police saying that this is a tough part of training, but it pushes the recruits to their limits. They make sure that they're ready for what they could face in real life situations. And they kind of just made a fun video like, this is me before pepper spray and then gagging after pepper spray. So we appreciate them. I just thought it was so funny.
Okay, so they get pepper sprayed, then they have to go fight or like get beat
all
or
the
whatever
things that could get thrown at them.
Wow.
Yes, while they're fighting for their life. So the pepper spray.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
That's brutal.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. They're
still doing a great job too.
Oh my gosh.
I also love that they can make fun of themselves because they know they look like they look ridiculous.
They're like, we look ridiculous, but this is for you, folks.
Right.
There you go. OC spray. No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Oh man, how are we looking today?
Well, we had the storms up north. They're falling apart. Sunshine today in Oklahoma City. A slight chance of storms this afternoon. Higher chance overnight tonight. And we'll watch for severe weather today out west.
There you go. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday. Make it a great one. We'll see you back here at 9 a.m.